ドジャースのスタン・カステン社長が米スポーツ経済番組スポルティコのインタビューで大谷選手にまつわる知られざるビジネスの実態を語りました。世界を動かす大谷ビジネスの実態とともに、ドジャースはなぜこれほど高い収益性を維持し成長し続けられるのかというテーマも掘り下げられています。日本語字幕付きでご紹介しますので、ぜひ最後までご覧ください。
What Mark Walters said recently, there was no better free agent signing in history than Shohei Ohtani. Of course, we can do that on the field. I got it. He's a great player, great hitter. I want to do the business of Shohei. You are the CEO of the team. Back up for me with some specifics why he is the greatest signing in the history of baseball.
Well, first of all, whenever we sign anyone, including Shohei, the first and most important consideration is what can he do for the team? How can he help us win a game on the field? If he can't do that, he cuts into any value he could possibly have. We're not like other sports where one player moves the needle in terms of celebrity or fame. That's not us. We need someone to contribute to winning games. And he came out with very high check marks on all of those metrics. In terms of off the field, I know you want specifics, and you also know I don't give you specifics, but I will tell you this.
Give me some really good generalities. He's done this, he's done that.
We pay him cash every year, $2 million a year. I can safely admit he has cleared that hurdle for us in terms of
Breaking news.
We'll ask a little bit of specifics, and obviously you don't have to give. According to Sportico's numbers, the Dodgers just passed $1 billion in annual gross revenue. The first baseball team to do that. Roughly what percentage is coming from overseas? You mentioned the international.
Oh, not a lot. No, not a lot. I mean, unless you count overseas visitors coming to the game, and I couldn't give you a specific number,
which I'm not.
But that's really increased. Remember, international rights belong to Major League Baseball. And the way our game is growing, recently it started in Europe. Increasingly now it's in the Pacific Rim. I think we have played a major role in increasing our visibility and our appeal and monetization opportunities across the Pacific Rim. But we get 1/30 of that. That is to the benefit of all of baseball, and we're happy to lead the way there. But that's really something that is centralized and all of us can share it.
But you have team sponsors that are Japanese companies, correct?
Oh yeah. But okay. Well,
that's part of what I'm asking.
We have about a dozen different sponsors, and they range from $100K to multi-million-dollar sponsors. So that's definitely true. But even that helps other teams because while we are sold out of our premium inventory, sponsors go to other cities when we are on the road. It's not an accident that behind the plate when Shohei is up, you see a Japanese sponsored ad. That's not a coincidence. It's also cheaper than buying them at Dodgers just because of the viewing habits. But there again is a way that we can contribute to helping all of baseball.
So there's obviously on the road, you're mentioning kind of one-off deals that teams do. Are you guys doing smaller deals too? Are there deals where it's just days that Shohei is pitching or days that Yamamoto is pitching?
No,
everything is done on a team-wide basis.
Yeah, we have promotional sponsorships, and we do activations on certain different days, like when we're giving out a bobblehead of an international star and things like that. But basically, if you're in for the season, we take care of you for the season, just like you're taking care of us for the season.
Eben, you ready for a question I've never asked a sports executive before? You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Stan, tell me the toilet story.
Well, which one are you referring to? No,
both.
Not your personal. No personal questions here.
We were, just like last year, when Shohei was considering us, we walked around the locker room and he observed that we were still one of the teams, I think most teams, that only has one batting cage at home. And I said, oh, you only have one batting cage? And we said, oh, would you like two? I said, well, yeah, two is really important. I spent so much time there, I don't want to take up time from the other players. So we said, oh, we're putting in a second batting cage, which we did. This year when we were talking to Roki, we were in the process of completely renovating our clubhouse for the first time in about a dozen years. And we were showing him this, and he just happened to ask just a random question. Well, do you have these wonderful Japanese toilets, which any of you are familiar with, really are great? And we said, well, no. Is that important? And he said, yeah. Is that something you would like? And he said, well, yeah. And I go, well, you know, we are putting them in. And we put a dozen in, and it cost some money, but it was the right thing to do anyway. The fact that Roki was there and was able to give us input into our plans. I think, by the way, that's also indicative of how we operate. We take input from people. And even though this offseason, as we're finally getting to the second batting cage, we're having, and you know, to dig down to do that, we had to completely raise the lower deck, take all the seats out and dig down. So one day Shohei was in my office in the off season and he sees all this stuff going on, and I say, you know, Sho, last year you were 50-50, okay? And we won the Team Silver Slugger Award for offense. We did all that with one batting cage. Are you sure we need this? And he looks at me very sincerely, says, Stan, the batting cage is my home. Okay, that's all I need. That's all I needed to know. So we have 2 batting cages and the world's most phenomenal array of Japanese toilets, and we're proud of all of those things.
And I'm going to ask you to put on your creative cap, because I know you don't give specifics. But if somebody said to you, let's pretend we're doing a Harvard case study, and they say, Stan, I need a title, a working title for the business of Shohei Ohtani. Individual, team, league. What he means to team, league, sport. What would that be?
It would, first of all, be a master of all of the disciplines, because he cuts across every demographic now. He cuts across geography. He is, if you go to Japan, you won't go a block without a billboard that doesn't have his face on. And he's very finicky about it. He's only associated with top brands. It's why when Joe Kelly's wife led the charge for him to sign here, even though it would mean her husband had to give up number 17, after he signed, he went to their house and gifted her a Porsche. Because Porsche is one of his sponsors. He can do things like that. So he has hardware, electronics, watches, baseball technology. He doesn't do podcasts yet. I don't think even in Japanese.
Really?
But I wouldn't rule it out. He doesn't quite have the breadth that LeBron has amassed at this stage in his career, but he's quite a bit earlier in his career than LeBron is. So I don't know what the future holds in terms of media, but in terms of advertising, sponsoring, he cuts across almost anything. He may well be the single most recognizable athlete in the world now, and I understand that world takes in soccer, cricket, and everything else. He really may be the leader.
Now, Eben and I always talk about athletes and their off-field endeavors and things they can do, which nowadays to me means equity. And like you said, he's at a time where he can learn from others, like the LeBron blueprint, but his globality, as you said, his popularity, lends itself to his ability to really become something we have not seen yet. What are your thoughts on the possibilities if he wanted to do it?
Yeah, I think that'll be there. If at least, you know, from Sportico, I think, has printed outlandish numbers that he makes off the field, probably accurately.
Yeah.
Probably. Not to mention the money he makes here and will be paid out over the next 18 or 20 years. So he has a lot he can invest, whether it's startups or whether it's driving the direction of a company he wants to join. So I have no doubt that his people at CAA, who still manages all his business affairs, I have no doubt they're looking at a lot of things. I'm not privy to any particular plans of his, because for the first 2 years with us, he's really been laser focused on having the best team and winning world championships. It's not surprising that last year in the Yankee clubhouse, as we are celebrating winning the World Series, he's hugging me, and the first words out of his mouth were 9 more to go. You know, that's what he is focused on. And truthfully, it is what makes everything else possible. So he continues to be focused on his best case, which is continuing to rack up team honors.
For listeners who are curious, we have Shohei at $72 million in earnings in 2024, and obviously almost all of that comes from off-field earnings because of the way his contract is structured.
I understand that might be light, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it was a year ago, right? And his star has gotten bigger in that year, so I imagine
the World Series didn't hurt him, I'm guessing, right?
100%. Stan, are there aspects of the Dodgers business after re-signing or signing Ohtani that surprised you? Doors that were opened, or types of companies or geographies that suddenly opened?
Listen, I have a marketing guy who leads a marketing team, and wherever we're going to sign X player, he gives me the expected marketing positive impact from that player. He's always wrong. It doesn't happen. Okay, it's below.
Well, is he wrong high, or is he wrong low? Yeah, exactly. Or is he just wrong?
He's wrong high, because baseball is not that kind of sport where one guy moves the needle. It doesn't exist.
And yet, on this one, I love this. I love this.
He was way, way low on this one. Way low, and we laugh about it now because we did have, we know what other people have done, but the unique combination, which we were never able to quantify, of the celebrity of this one player and the legacy, the history, the acclaim of the Dodger brand throughout history, those two things put together was really baseball's best foot forward. It's why baseball has really taken the ball and run with it, to mix my metaphors, to grow their international business. It was the best case for baseball at the best possible time, and I think we're still seeing the benefits of that, and we'll continue to for the next, hopefully 8 years.
Have you learned any Japanese?
I did the first time around with Kenta Maeda, and I still had my little cheat sheet. But here's what you don't know: Shohei speaks pretty good English. He really does. But because he's a perfectionist, he just doesn't like to do it because he might not be perfect. You will see in interviews, we always have an interpreter with him. And when someone asks the question in English, you can see him shaking his head. Yeah, he got it. But now he's going to wait for the guy to interpret just to make sure. And the same with his answers. So there's no trouble with Shohei speaking. I don't need to speak Japanese with Shohei.
That sounds like Russian hockey players, Scott.
Ochan Harasho. I was very surprised, Dan, you brought up interpreter and Shohei. I gotta say, like that was not a fun. How long was that not fun for you?
It was 12 hours of hell. 12 hours thinking, all of this is gone. All of this is gone. It's disappeared. Everything we had done, everything we planned, gone. But within 12 hours, we had started to understand what was really going on here. There never was a scandal. There was a swindle. That's true. And someone's doing time for that right now. But Shohei never did anything wrong. But yeah, it was a bad half a day.
Right. How much runway, by the way, is left on the business side? How much runway is there? And because I hear things, we know RSNs are they're going away, right? Your deal's pretty great. We hear mixed-use development. I don't see one yet, but there are possibilities. How much more runway is there on the business side for the Dodgers?
We have more. We have plenty we can do. We are always looking for brand extensions, and this isn't just on the strict capitalist economic scale. We also do a lot of philanthropy, and this enables us to improve our philanthropic efforts a lot. We are in thousands of programs and appearances around the city, around Southern California, and I try to always mention the extent to which our reputation, our brand, is grown and growing. It's because of our team on the field, but it's also because of what we have invested in the stadium experience, in all the renovations we've done, in a 60-year-old stadium that is featuring modern 21st century amenities, and in the philanthropy and programs we do around we have We have 68 Little League fields that we have built around Los Angeles. That's a lot for kids who didn't have them. They're built in underprivileged areas. Kids can play softball, baseball, boys and girls. And that's just one of 100 different programs we do. So all of it works, all of it helps, and it continues to drive us all. Right?
Wait, I had a question. Hold on. I asked, this is true. I had a question of Eben last time. I said, with all of the data that we use for everything these days, do sponsors or do teams, and maybe your marketing guy, you know, the one who's always wrong, maybe he could help here. Is there data in terms of which players, where do they hit the ball so I know exactly to the foot, to the inch, where I want to put my sign? Or is it just, well, we want left field?
We do understand where balls are hit. I don't think we break it down quite like you do, but I will tell you in every marketing pitch and every time they come in, we have a group of clips showing here's where Shohei hit the ball when and it was an important home run, so it's memorialized forever, okay? Your brand is going long after your sponsorship, so you're welcome, right? That's basically what we tell them, and no one complains because we're right and they're right. This is something that works for everyone. We're trying to maximize what we can get, but we also continue to invest in our fans who have invested in us, not just on the team level, which we do, but mostly in what we do to keep the stadium modernized and to keep our community engaged in a way that will keep them supporting us if we ever do have a down time, which I hope we never do.
Well, do you remember Steve Shanwald? Do you remember Steve Shanwald in Chicago with the Bulls?
Yes, sure.
Steve was tasked with, how do I keep my fan base when Michael Jordan retires?
Yeah.
Like, that was Steve's job, and he worked tirelessly again. He was one of the first data collector. Who are my fans? When do they come? What do they want? How often? And how do I make sure they sign up long after Michael Jordan's gone? So, I mean, it's not the easiest thing.
Well, here's the thing. In baseball, first of all, we have thought about that specifically with Shohei, and obviously that's a long way from now, so there's nothing for us to announce. But baseball, again, is not determined by one lead guy, by one Michael Jordan, right, or by one Hakeem Olajuwon. It's not, or one LeBron. It's not like that. It takes 26 guys up here and the whole 40-man roster and the 200 minor leaguers behind them. Baseball America this week unveiled some StatCast analyses of the best minor league talent. And on the pitching side, we were number one.
We talked about this a few weeks ago, Stan.
Then on the baseball side, we were number one. That doesn't happen by itself. That happens because you have great people, really committed, really dedicated to the mission of being good after Michael Jordan retires and after Shohei is not here, right? That's the most important thing we can do, and we have an army of people that spend their lives working on that.
I think most people would look at the Dodgers payroll and expect your farm system to be bad, right? Just assume that you have kind of mortgaged the future in exchange for stardom now. And I do think it's impressive that you have done both simultaneously.
Well, listen, I said this from the day, we're not shy about this. We have a marketplace that supports doing both things at once, having a team up here and having a great development pipeline. Not every market can do that. I understand that. And that's a problem. That's a problem we should address in baseball. But we have a market that does allow that, and while the rules allow us to exploit that, to capitalize on that, we do it, but we understand that we're fortunate to be in a market. I think to not take advantage of that would be a disservice to all our fans who have supported us for 60-some years.
This may be a question for people who are not you, but how would you fix that problem? What's the answer?
You're getting into an area that I won't be discussing today.
Fair enough.
I appreciate your backhanded way of trying, as if I was a rookie. That was great, Evan.
No. You see, this is where you're missing. No. This is where you're missing it, Stan. He wasn't hoping to fool you as if you were a rookie. He was hoping that some dementia had started to come in, and that you might say something.
Well, you have a much better chance of that.
Yeah, much better. You see, that's what he does with me too. But
Okay.
I'm still sharp enough to understand. Like, no, that's not going to work on me.
最後までご覧いただきありがとうございました。 今回の動画についてどういう感想を持たれましたか？ぜひコメント欄で意見や感想をお聞かせください。チャンネル登録やグッドボタンを押していただけると励みになります。それでは次回の動画でお会いしましょう。